You're watching EXP Experience Together.
Welcome back, Lore Keepers. Last time on Esoteric EBB, we had just gotten out of the sewers, finally dealing with that Kraaid situation. And now we're still in the city below, trying to find our way out, because if you remember from a few episodes back, we had promised a little kid at the newspaper stand, I believe his name was Aaron, that we were going to figure out what all the commotion's about in Waterlane. So, let's get to it. I don't know how to get out of here. Wait a minute. Oh. How are we all the way back here? Did we somehow... What? We somehow made a full circle. Oh god. This is terrifying. This isn't an exit either. Yeah, so we're trying to find the exit. We're trying to get out of here. And before it's, past 18 o'clock or 6 o'clock, preferably, because if you remember correctly, the commotion's happening at 18 o'clock. I want to know what that is, but I also don't believe I have the time. If I can avoid most confrontation, I should be good. But as we know from last episode, that's kind of impossible in this place. There's so many traps. Just so many. I think this might be the exit. I think we might have found the exit, boys. Oh my god. Oh my god, we actually found the exit. Absolute cinema. Thank you, God. Jesus. Let's go. Okay, now all we need to do is get to Waterlane. I don't believe this is Waterlane. I believe Waterlane is... Hey, can you go up the stairs? There we go. I believe Waterlane is this way. Yep. There's the commotion. Oh, it's that girl. A tense scene. Oh, and Cleric, just in time. 4 young guys, each looking a bit nervous, except the angry-looking blonde kid. We've confiscated the illegal goods, he says, bowing his head. For the city! He turns his head toward one of the kids behind him. How's it going, Earth Nessie?
Uh-huh.
I'm trying, hold on. Point at the lanky kid trying to cast a cantrip. Hey, stop it. He freezes and gives the blonde kid a nervous look. Oh, sorry, Cleric. I'm Rollo, the blonde kid says and takes a bow. Rollo Malak. At your service. Behind me are the Earth Nessie, Stan Buskin, and Tully. We're members of the Norvican Resistance, a movement to... You're thieves. And ignorant book burners. The girl adjusts her spectacles, straightens her back. With all due respect, Mr. Cleric, she says, don't believe a word from these thugs. He noticed the 2 other girls behind her, a halfling and a dwarf, both look at each other. Assholes! Careful, It's an actual cleric. Thugs? Modessa. Really? Like, hey, aren't just a bunch of ruffians. I've seen enough, the goblin whispers to you in sighs. Just activists clashing. But hey, Asgilus youth. See the green armband? Hello everyone, I'm the Cleric. They've stolen... You stole our entire Waterlane delivery. Verity stirs in quiet thought. Yeah, of a legal newspaper. Lord Cleric, I assure you, we're doing the city a favor here. I take that, right? It's just a bunch of LARPers. Okay, so I'm sensing a bit of conflict here. You're here to uphold the law, right? So arrest these assholes. Now! The dwarf grabs her hand and holds her back. Modessa, calm down, please. What does this law say about this conflict? Asgard Chant, or whatever silly name its anonymous publisher gave, it is not licensed for distribution in Tallstadt. The city knows that terrible papers should not be given out. At the same time, it is also illegal to steal delivered newspaper from mailbox, even if those papers are delivered illegally. Both are in the wrong, in different ways, yes. Your sense of justice says only one thing. The newspapers are filed with ill-making propaganda. Let it burn. You, explain your side. Okay, fine. Her dwarven friend mutters, Modessa, in a concerned tone. Her friends are trying to keep her from being so brazen. Why? If they're in the right, she should be brazen. We deliver newspaper for the Asgalian Chant. Maybe you've heard of it. It's a pretty big deal. Oh my god. She draws a sharp breath. We have busy schedules, and right as we started delivering the papers in Waterlane, these pieces of shit started following us. Taking papers we've just delivered right out of people's mailboxes. That's illegal, right? The halfling girl says. Highly illegal. Of course it's illegal. Your opinion does not even register. She does not even hear it. Insolent behavior. And then they grab our paper stacks from Zerba like straight up assault and theft. And Modessa, it wasn't... They can't get away with this. Probably was not that bad. Alright, kid. What's going on with you? First of all, thank you for listening to reason. I know we look like some dumb kids, but we're not. Something about his expression makes me think the exact opposite. He gestures toward you and then himself. We're on the same team here, you and I. I don't look dumb. He says, looking dumb. Stop stalling. Tell me what you're doing here. So, we heard about the Asgal Chant being delivered on Tolstad. Or I did, at the guild. I work for the fishery, and I see every day how Earthfolk get radicalized by dwarven nonsense. So I figured I'd get the boys with me and we'd, put a stop to it. You want to stop the production of a copper paper? Well, Couldn't figure out where the thing was printed or anything. A lot of copper press designs don't really have an official company behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially trash like the Chan. You hear coming from the short kid in the back. Go fuck yourself, Tully. Hey. Relax, I'm telling our story here. To the good Lord Cleric. He turns his back to you and coughs once. Of course it's illegal to distribute unlicensed paper in every official district. So I ask around. Apparently, someone saw these girls at the university going around delivering it. It wasn't that difficult to figure out it was Modissa doing the deliveries. Fucking Modissa. She is not allowed to do that. The large kid in the back says with a nod. Wait, you guys know each other? There's history here? Yeah. Back in school, everyone knew who Modissa was. That's Gallus Annoyance, the blonde kid says with a grin. Such a terrible nickname. Unimaginable and boring. Also, fuck you. Anyway, that's how we got here. They've been delivering an illegal magazine and we've put a stop to it. He grins wide and proud. That's enough. I've come to a conclusion. Good, she says and nods. Great. Good. He's outwardly very nervous. Oh, hey! He stares at you trying to retain his composure. This can get out of hand quickly. If you fail at telling him to give back the paper, this might get ugly. Your body might grow irritable. Tell him to give back the papers in a controlled and thoughtful manner. Yes! Your gloved hand firmly grabs and he gives you a freaked out expression. Kid, give back her papers. No, stay quiet. He glares at you. Give back the papers. He glances away from you. You can see his mind working behind those wide eyes, and he slowly nods. Young and dumb updated. Rolo snatches up the stack of papers and tosses them over to Modissa. She catches them without a oof. She catches them with a oof, accompanied by a foul expression. Rumbling, the boys then leave Waterlane. Gods be damned. The three girls collect themselves for a second. Shit. Yeah, wow, that was scary. Mr. Cleric. Thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot. Within a minute, they've dispersed, leaving Waterlane a bit less rowdy than before. I'd say that was the right choice, even if those girls seemed shady as well. Now, let's get out of here. Okay. We did what we needed to in here. I don't believe this place is opened up yet. Yeah, no, it's bar type. So, we've made it out of the caves, and it doesn't look like there's much here to do yet. I'm assuming we're probably going to be day 2 when much really happens here. So what I'm thinking about doing is this. The Cleric, sorry I'm busy. Oh, wow. Schnurr's office? Schnurr's office? Scholarly commendation of the Falnip Commonwealth. Children's drawings on the wall. Almost dead, but not yet. You see a collection of books from the philosopher canon, none of which you are really able to understand. Next to them is a line of famous political books, as Gallus' Theory, Hedonist, The Dark Book of Shadows, Lexandra, and many more. Let's see what's up with him. You take a step into the cramped office, standing in front of a sleeping halfling. This is a scholar? Curse the gods, go investigate his book collection before waking the lazy halfling. Dusk? Oh, of day one. Open the Dark Book of Shadows by the Shadow Lord. You pick up the black-covered tome. A faint tingle goes through your gloved hand. That's the most evil book I've ever seen. How'd they even get that cover to be that black? It's like a void. Thick and graphite. That is how they create the darkness on the cover. A memory lingers in this tome. If you open it, you shall recall. Open it despite its evil nature. The text is not dangerous. The pages show but a holy scripture of the Shadow Lord's lost religion, one of the eternal servitude and the search of life and death. However, you remember it well. This was the first book you were ordered to study as punishment for your idiotic behavior at the towers. You remember your first journey toward the esoteric. Call it. Damn. How painful it was to know beyond any doubt how alone you truly are. A blurred face, hushed whispers, a crowd of thoughtful peers, each snickering about your hand, a raised hand among the crowd of sheep. Patriarch, it's not just a religious text. They stare at you. It's a spell book. Those were the words. Oh, how they laughed. He asked you to prove yourself. So you did. I went up to the Patriarch and I took the Book of Shadow. Yes. Then memorized the tech ailment. Alignment. You memorized it on the spot. Then you cast that ancient spell once used by the Death Knights of the Shadow Lord to subjugate and control the minds of his people. A spell that is, despite its first level, not learned by most clerics until they grasp the intricacies of a higher tier casting. Everyone was left stunned by your excellence. To not only master such a spell, but to do it in seconds instead of days. That moment, it was yours. From that moment, you marked your place at the towers as the greatest spellcaster, the greatest talent, and among them all. However, as always, the weak fear the strong. That moment also began your ostracization. You would never be among them, never have peers. None of them would see you in any way as a brother or a comrade. I would be a leader. You are. And you shall continue to be. Your vision is blurry. It is filled by the pages of that book. It is a good one, despite its religious fervor. As many say, the Shadow Lord was as much an early arcanist as he is the greatest of the walking gods. I need to rest after that. Out of hit dice? Memoirs of the Statesman. The first few pages are devoted to a rambling text about the history of the governing. From ancient texts from various beasts of Jor to the gods of the divine era to several arcanist figures, Darrow then smoothly moves on to conflate their accomplishments with his own. especially since he's also included an explanation of his lineage. That is a direct firstborn grandson of Morgo Dara, the first paladin on Earth. The many pages go on to describe both practical and most theoretical methods of a statesman should use when dealing with the populace, the bureaucracy, and the ideologies of modern life. Generally, the book has a rather rough tone about democracy, a quote you've heard before. This book pops up towards the end. Those who believe in democracy have a wonderful view of folk, to think them capable of making rational and informed decisions devoid of personal bias and emotional conduct. From what you remember, it caused quite a stir when it came out 2 years ago. You can recall rumor about Shield Lord John having hatred of this book. So much during its printing that he personally bought 200 copies only to burn them in his garden. It's probably not true. Probably. You do so. You take a step into the cramped office, standing in front of a sleeping halfling. This is the scholar? Curse the gods, go investigate his book collection before waking the lazy halfling. Hello? Oh! He moans slowly, opening his bushy eyes. His confused gaze focused upon you. Life is pain. What? Terrible pain. Oh! The wrinkles fold over one another like waves of a storied sea. Are you? He looks at you in his wary expression, then rubs his nose and sniffs twice. Are you here for the invoice? His words come out as a typical forward-nip accent. What? The invoice! I don't have any invoice. Not from you at least. You don't? Oh, hold on. I've already paid that invoice. You're here for something different. He leans in facing Snell. I hope Queen Goblin has no quarrel with this old scholar. He holds up his palm. Nah, we're here on city business. Yeah, I got some questions about the tea shop, mostly. Tea shop? Then you are dealing with interesting events. The city has seen its fair share of great calamities over the year, and the tea shop explosion appears to be tiny in comparison. Probably, but I have some questions regardless. Of course! Curiosity is absolutely vital for keeping the old brain in motion, so I commend you, Cleric. And you as well, goblin friend. He looks around grunting. Can I get either of you some fucking water, or... He wields swear words like coastal winds. No, thank you. Your companion replies very quickly. Your scholar applicant, right? Me, yes? I am Snur Appledent, he says and bows his head in the chair. Scholar of Fordnip University, in dedicated service to the progress of ICE. ICE? Ailment Intent Studies. Primarily, my expertise lands on the topic of alignment, and its many historical and contemporary application. Some bullshit, I will tell you. These days, I mostly deal with other forms of study. Specifically, I run this office here on the experimental technique of psychoanalysis. What kind of magic is that? No magic at all, although there has been some detect thoughts involved at some points in its development. It is the form of mind healing, as they call it. I'll be one to call it support instead. It is essentially the idea that the mental present is shaped by the mental past, and all through dialogue, our unreleased unconscious ghost can be vanquished. So it's talking about feeling. I know, truly horrifying. A reticent friend of mine once told me this joke, and I apologize if it's too vulgar for your taste, but he sputters out of words too little courtlish. Right. A cleric and an arcanist and a rogue delve into a lair of a succubus. The fiend defeats all three men, throwing them in her dungeon. But she grows to fancy them, so she offers them a choice. For each man who can successfully satisfy her, she will let the man go. Otherwise, he speaks with little fits of laughter in between. She ends to them, and so she says... This is going to be a long tale. You actually haven't heard this one. If it is sacrilege, you'll have to beat the gnome. Ho ho ho! A succubus. Not alone. So the three adventurers debate in which order to go. Eventually the rogue and arcanist decide that the cleric should go first, as he is a virgin and will be least likely to increase her standards. Your goblin companion rubs his eye as he listens to the joke. The cleric, being divine and so on, prays to his god and goes to the fiend's bedchamber. He comes out 10 minutes later completely unharmed and gives a thumbs up to his two friends, who of course both feel a great sense of relief. The arcanist goes in next, confident and arrogant. If the cleric could do it, the fiend must be easy. Within minutes his bones roll out of the bedchamber entrance, the man's having been incarcerated by hellish flames. The rogue is horrified, but realizes obviously the arcanist overestimated his ability, so he carefully enters the bedchamber, ready to put every ounce of effort into it. Less than a minute later, screams erupt from the bedchamber. The rogue's lifeless corpse falls out the entrance. The cleric prays for the souls of his comrades and gathers their remains for burial. The succubus steps out, smoking a cigarette. She tells the cleric, your friends were truly terrible. They were just fumbling about down there. At least you managed to touch it a little. To which the cleric responds, you are truly an awful creature, and I will pray for your presence to be exorcised from this plane of existence every day until the day I die. Then before he walks out, the cleric also adds, oh, but I did heal that horrible wound you had between your legs. Hopefully that makes you less evil in the future. The goblin lets out a slight gust of wind through his nose. I get it, the halfling courts loudly. My kind of humor, you might say. In short, you could view the succubus as an evil in the world, which religious fervor would pay to repair. However, such reparation could often lead to a not-so-optimal path. He keeps on laughing. Or, most simply, you could say it's a basic allegory for the alignment itself. The cleric meant well in all of his attempts, but his action cost the lives of both of his comrades. Is that evil or is it good? And so on. Either way, a psychoanalyst, yes, that's what we're talking about. It's about your feelings, thoughts, and memories. Choices you've made. Things that have happened to you. They can bog you down, so to say, and that goal in my clinical practice is to root that out in my patient's mind and have them make aware of repressed negative baggage, if you will. So, one can move forward most speedily. Sounds like removing a curse of mine. In a metaphorical sense, yes. But it is not the only thing I work on here. I am currently exploring the dream of Animus. The dream of man and woman. What a pervert. You like this guy? Sounds interesting. It is! Beyond that, I also focus a lot on my unverified theories. He slaps his knee and grins. The folk spirits, have you heard of it? Yes. Oh! Then tell me, what is it? Nat 20. Ah! Just look at this halfling. He's clearly walking in the footsteps of the study of the unconscious mind melding. Your best guess would then be, the folk spirits is based on the idea of the universe folk myths. His bushy eyebrows reach for the ceiling. Why, yes! Very good guess, Cleric. The Volk Spirits is the working title for my new thesis. Most of it is, if you excuse my, Narun, fucking bullshit. But in short, it is about how each folk share a number of core communal archetypes or myths. I have traveled around the coast to collect as many tales, writing down thousands of stories previously only passed down orally, all to see how well my theory holds up in the minds of so many folk. He clears his throat and leans back into his chair. Apologize, I'm ranting here. Let us put a stop to it. What do you want, Cleric? What do you know about the tea shop, the one that exploded? Oh, horrific! He gestures widely toward the rocky wall. Shit started shaking, and it feels as the red rock of Tolstad itself was cracking for a half a second or so. So you were down here when it happened? Yes. I think I was asleep, but the sound awoke me. Did you go check it out? No. Someone told me later what it was like. I have work to do here. Did you hear anything about it? Rumors or anything? You should not believe rumors, Cleric. But yes, I did hear some nasty stuff. Some people seem to think the owner did it himself since he was missing. Some others think the city did it since they printed a clear lie in the post. I've also heard people say the Asgalis are responsible since it was their hideout. Or the Free Striders did it for the same reason, blowing up Asgalis opposition, and so on. It's all bullshit, of course. Don't believe the rumors. I got other questions. Can you give me some mind healing? Of course. I am, however, a bit swamped in work right now. I will get you a book slot. I'll have a time after the election. You should come visit me. Okay, I'll do that. Great. I have not had a chance to hold a dialogue with a cleric before. It will be interesting. Truth be told, I am very overworked, and I'm struggling with a certain topic. He makes a noise that might have once been a call. The old man is frustrated. Tell you why you were thinking about it. I'm focusing on a specific idea of the Cividics. The idea of two opposite faces of your ego, masculine and feminine. But I can't seem to get past a certain obstacle. Explain. You see, the work is called the Books of the Mind. It is, in my opinion, Cividics' masterpiece in the figurative sense. Figurative? Indeed. No. It's not. There's a rare edition of the book which contains a rumored so-called final foreword from Cividics himself. In this foreword, he apparently reveals a revelation about the categorization of the psyche, specifically on the topic of gender. Might be nothing, but it would be highly interesting to get my grubby hands on it. He leans in and whispers, and more importantly, it would bring me great pleasure to know how much Cividics would be spinning in whatever Asnian mass grave he's buried, and if he knew a halfling like himself was pioneering in his footsteps. Oh ho! You want to develop his ideas further? Yes, that is the idea. Sneer leans back in his chair. The final 6th edition of the book, it was only printed in 10 copies. The publisher then hiked up the price in order to sell it to collectors. Those collectors have spent the last 3 decades using these copies as a form of investment, making sure to keep it tight content of the foreword a tightly guarded secret. Sorry about that. How terrible. A scholar's word should be freely available. Nothing is ever free, even if it is free. You should save up money and buy one if you want it that bad. Sure, I'll just go grab that dragon horde I've got hiding behind my toilet. It's expensive. Yes. I drank a bit too much the other night, and in my desperation, I paid a Devanir to cast locate object for me. I didn't expect anything, and it was very expensive. However, she actually found it, a copy of the 6th edition of the Book of the Mind. It is here, very close to Waterlane View, and she often told me that the exact location, he points to the floor, is about 40 meters straight down. It's in the city below? Yes, exactly. It sounds like a quest. Sure, why not? So many side quests. So many side quests. Delve into the dangerous tunnels below, get me that book, and don't get yourself killed. In exchange, I will, well, what the fuck kind of reward do you want? I want you to my broken mind. Impossible, no one can fix another's mind. I can promise support, but not guarantee. Choose something else. I don't know, do you have a magic item or something? He shrugs. I have books and drawers. You know what? He says and snaps his fingers. The book itself, it's expensive and probably magical in some sense. Give me the book, let me take a look at it forward, and you keep the book afterwards. That's still a quest, right? Sounds wonderful, I love quests. I am not an expert in what kind of shit is down there, but the city below is dangerous, so don't wander blindly. Good luck, Cleric. That's all for now. Thank you, citizen. That shit's always gonna be hard. What's in here? You stand in front before a damp door on a cramped corner out. The wood is dark, swollen, with a perpetual moist of Waterlane. The lair of the river mud and algae. You know someone here? No. And why are you standing here? Now I'm gonna go back to the caves. Because we did what we needed to do. We kept our promise to that kid. Let's actually see what's going on here. Oh, young adult. Take root. Trouble brewing? Young woman running around the streets, slinging Asgulus propaganda to unsuspecting citizens. Boys causing chaos in the name of some hapless magazine-inspired rebellion. This cannot be tolerated. No, it cannot. Too much chaos has been caused by these damn kids. Indeed, this must be solved. With the might of the state, we shall. The Asgard youth did nothing to warrant such a pushback. This era is one of communication. Ideas and interchange freely between a populace of free-minded thinkers, folk dreaming of as egalitarian potential. However, the problem lies with the unfortunates who break and sear folkarian thought with reckless unkindness. You must pray for them, beg for them, to please stop being so mean. We must keep hope for those with anger in their hearts. Those boys might be unkept and rough, but they are proud citizens of the great city. They are performing a service, albeit a crude one beyond the realm of law. But the youth as go, they are even more unlawful, to a much steeper degree. The Asgard girls were just doing a technically criminal crime. The boys were doing multiple literal, actual fire-related crimes. It's a morality issue, not a legality issue. You weigh mortality upon your shoulders, of ideology in this case. You see that, do you not? The only shoulders being weighed upon here are your manly, bulging, muscular traps. What has happened here is a complication upon society, a representation of the wider culture. Young men are drawn towards the rough, downtrodden world of the dreamers. The hope of national unity through a Arthurian story, one of leadership and honor, but without that guiding star, there is no such singularity, no control, no wise king to bend the knee. Instead, those boys are simply expressing pain through violence, enacted onto those who are attempting to craft a more caring future. That is, young women. They are opposed to young men, are drawn towards a more social type of unity, with welfare as Asgalian, flattened, hierarchical structures beyond Asgal himself, who is by his function a male figure. It is towards a womanly people you shall look towards. Lady Fair is one, the halfling god. Yes, Lady Fair and those not, the walking god, who gave everything to save her people. Her words are few, but spread far across the coast. Her church is quite activating among Norvikian society, as an organization of charity, one open to all folk no matter their origin. An egalitarian dream. This is why women are, as harsh as it is to say, are simply more suited for Novikian leadership. Lady Fair makes it clear. A house held by women stands any season. I feel like there should be some middle ground here. What about a house held by a person? Never falls. That's catchy. By a person never falls. That's catchy, right? There is something more powerful about dreams. Ideas spreading from man to woman, woman to man. But the Asgalian dream is not a blessing. It is a smile wrought in pain, a vision of 1,000 layers of intersected knits and labels, tangling every person, ensnaring them in oppressor or oppressed. And there is oppression. There are unfair hierarchies. The world is corrupt, but not fundamentally. If these boys are pushing back against Asgalism, that is only natural. It is the ideology which pushes a foundational belief that they are naturally oppressively superior. If a young man grows up in squalor, finding zero advantages from him being a man among patriarchs, nor any power from being a human, especially if he grows up with non-human cluster, something many of the poorest humans do. When he is unable to find a job at the age of 19 and has almost no political, societal, or economical power in his life, which dream do you think he would believe in? The one calling him to fight to reclaim what is his by right, a good life as a future patriarch, or the one calling him an oppressor? This does not call him an oppressor. That is an unfair reading. Asgalian is about systematic change, that young men is trapped in the same cycle of violence that all men find themselves since the dawn of time, that he must fight, that he must be a patriarch to have a good life. Asgalism would lay the foundation that allows him to be free from these burdens. He would be free to find a job, that good life with the same prospect as everyone else. The foundation is laid by raising women to the forefront, by allowing them to flatten our hierarchies and bring about a new world. No, I don't care about men or women. I'm an equal hater. We all suck. That is not a nice way to go through life. It is, however, surprisingly egalitarian. You need to come to that realization. That the one in every boy reaches towards the late stages of their capitalistic, puristic, and socialistic awakening that, no, not at all. It is only your placement you must understand. Figure out where you've planted these 2 feet of yours and accept where your bones will begin their incessantly slowish grind into the pavement. Learn more. Steel yourself. Seek love. Be more. Oh my god, I did not. I was gonna choose that one. Everyone lay upon Jor's spectrum, each judged for their perceived and internalized values. You're approximately 0.52 decimals across the line into masculinity. That is a less abstract definition, a little over halfway to being a full man. Sorry, what? Slightly over halfway, yes. I'm only halfway? It is not ideal. I'm not sure how I feel about this knowledge. Look at it this way. The average man is, if you think back to your ability to sniff out manhood, usually placed around 0.50 decimal of masculinity. You were at. That makes you 0.2 more man than the average man. So I'm actually super manly. Let us not get carried away. You're approximately averagely decently middle ground manly. A normally sized manhood inside of a perfectly median shaped man. I can work with that. You already have for many years. Now, you will choose what? You know the truth, so choose a side. What does feminine and masculine mean in this context? It means where the target lands on Jor's gender spectrum. They will always be on one side of this esoterically decided middle point. If you disagree with the judgment, take it up with Jor. You cannot do that. Jor's dead. That is what they tell you, yes. Do so. Stand tall. Do not be afraid. Stand straight, shoulders back. Every man with a radius of 2 to 3 kilometers will respect you for your choice here. The rest will follow soon. Alrighty, and we're gonna end it there because the next place we gotta go to is back into the city below to search a little bit more for this man in yellow, the Frank in yellow. We did get to deal with our commotion, which is great. I've been looking forward to dealing with that. I did not expect it to be a political clash. I was expecting more of like some underground gangs. But, you know, we handle it. Because we're the Cleric. Now, remember, thank you for checking in. I'm Hollow. And remember to follow the light inside.